Okay, we're going to take a look here now at a technique for detail cleaning in tight spaces. Here's some grunge. Now I've been in here doing some of this already. So this edge right here had grunge in it, and all under here had grunge, and it still has grunge. So what I'm going to do now is simply take this 1/4-inch blade screwdriver with a long shaft and a plain old rag and strong soapy dishwater in a little plastic tub, and I'm going to use this as a way to get into those tight spaces. And this is kind of stupid looking, but it really works, and I've been doing this for years. So I haven't got this on a tripod, so just take a look at some of this grunge here right now, and I'm going to get in there and go after a little bit of it. And you can see how little time this takes because I haven't taken the camera off of it. It's a little clumsy and you have to be careful, but you can get into some tight spaces, and the sharp blade on the screwdriver helps in some situations. You have to be careful. You don't want to bust stuff. Right now I'm cleaning this ceramic on this trimmer cap, and want to be careful you don't mess anything up, but you can shove the rag back into places you can't even get the screwdriver into, and then pull it back and forth using the screwdriver. And so here you can see how much improvement we've made in just a couple of minutes. So there's a technique for getting into spots that are too doggone difficult to get to. You can't get a toothbrush in there because it's simply too big and fat. But this thing, you can get in there. Let's see if we can do this one-handed or not. I'm going to give it a try, except it's so you can get in there underneath that capacitor that you wouldn't be able to get into any other way. You can shove a rag into places and worry him a little bit and succeed in. It's time consuming, it's not elegant, but it works. So, and it's important. It's important that you not leave dirt. Come on, focus. Not leave dirt in there, especially in these areas where there's high voltage around, because you will come to grief if you do. Cleanliness is next to goodliness. So anyway, you can see that by continuing to work at it like that, you can get this nice and clean. Look at the top of these ceramic insulators on these tuning caps, and can't get a screwdriver in there because it's too tight, I think. I mean a toothbrush. Let's see, can we get in there with a toothbrush or not? I can't look in the viewfinder and do this, but no, you really can't. So that's something we'll do with the rag and the screwdriver. Okay, that's it. It's just you just keep working at it over and over and over again until you get it nice and clean. Okay, here's what we've been able to do, and this is for contrast. You can take a look and see we've gotten it relatively clean, or in that corner and around this part of the base of this coil form here. And now let's look in the back, and you can see what's back there. That's what it was like all the way around this coil. So this is what you can do just with a rag with dish soap and water on it and a screwdriver blade. And so you want to just keep working at that till you get rid of all of that kind of grunge. We've even cleaned inside the coil here. So this is a classic example of the same stuff that was around here that we had to take off with solvent. We're going at it mechanically here with the screwdriver, a rag, and the soap and water, and it's working pretty well. I even took this tiny little screwdriver. See if you can see this thing. This is my best little German screwdriver, and used that to get right back in this corner here. There's still a little bit of grunge in there that had to be physically removed. So that's what you're up against when you do this, and it's time consuming, but this is, once you've done the gross cleaning, you got to do this detail work, and it's worth every minute of it. Okay, so here we are working on this for about an hour or so. This is about 90% of there, considerably different than it was. And as I say, it ain't perfect, but a lot better. You can see there's still more grunge to get, and it's the last ones are always the hardest. But see if we can see underneath this. See underneath this capacitor here, it's pretty clean. Insulators, pretty clean. Took a little damp rag to this RF choke and some of the crud off it, but most of these corners, excuse me, feed around the transformers, back in these little holes, still not perfect, but getting there. And little details, all these stinking little details that make a difference. So still not perfect. Still more grunge in there. Some places are just really tough to get to, and they take more and more work. And not in the VFO, but underneath this thing here, you can see if there's a little shadow of crud there, then it was a tough place to get to. But that was pretty awful in there before. You can see there's still junk to get, and may resort to a little bit of solvent here before we're done, but most of these little nooks and crannies under these pots and down in there, getting there. So that's where we're trying to get after we've done the preliminary cleaning. You got to do this detail cleaning. Now, one of the things you got to look out for is when you're focused on getting this grunge out, and you're putting a fair amount of elbow grease into the screwdriver and a rag, you can bust stuff or you can bend it. So these little wires here need to be centered in these holes and not shorted out. So if you've been in here working hard, go back and take a look at everything. Do it now, because you're likely to forget about it. And you don't want to fire this thing up and having forgotten it to look and make sure that you haven't either broken something or bent it and caused it to short out. So there you go.